Welcome back to another episode of Home Built by Howard, or also known as My Garage is a Complete Mess. Uh, this week, we are going to test fit the doors and get the front end back on the car.
360, 75 hours, 10-6.
If you're new here, this is my TR6 Restomod project car, where I'm taking all the internals, powertrain, electronics, everything out of a BMW 135 and stuffing it into a 68 Triumph TR6. Listen, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It all helps with people noticing this channel. Comment, please. There's not a lot of you, so I will comment back. You're going to get to talk to me. So last episode, if you watched, if you didn't, there's a link in the playlist. We got all the bits and pieces of the firewall finished up. We got all the sheet metal done around the brake booster and around the e-box, which is the electronics box on the passenger side. So let's tuck into it. I'll show you what we got done and we'll move forward from there. Last episode, we covered up we did the driver's side here, this part that covers the electronic module that actuates the ABS system, as well as we fixed all of this in here around the brake booster. And on the passenger side, when I'll walk over there, around the e-box, what we did was we boxed it in and we did a whole bunch of little metal filling and just getting all the little pieces together. There's still a bunch of stuff to be done. I'm still waiting for my air filter to show up so that I can finish off where the heating system goes and cover this up. And there's bits and pieces in the firewall that need to be done, but I have done so much work on this car, and it's been on and off of this frame, and it's it's had these bars holding the doors hopefully in place. I did all the major work way back when I did the sills, and these had not been moved. They were bolted down tight when it was still sitting on its original frame. So I'm hoping that the doors fit properly. And at this point, all I can do is maybe bolt the doors back on. And granted, I don't have fenders front or rear to actually line up, but I do have the opening of the door, and I just want to make sure that from here to here that we didn't have the car collapse, because if it did, then we're going to have some bendology that we're going to have to take care of. So let's grab the driver's door and temporarily pop it in place, and just to see how it fits now. Okay, so I test fit the door, literally just holding it up into place. And, I should have known even before I tried. This car has, standard British tolerance units in it. So, even if this car was like folded in half, the doors would still fit because there's just so much clearance. So putting the door in place and just lining it up with the rust spot here, which is really handy. I've got like a 1/4 inch here and about this same 1/4 inch here, which is pretty much what I had, from the get-go. The panel gaps on this car are not going to be Lamborghini, Ferrari, Bentley, sort of tolerances, okay? This is going to be what it's going to be. This car is older than I am, and that's saying something. And yet it's probably in better shape than I am. So, just literally taking this door and putting it back into place and seeing that sort of a gap and just going, yeah, that it it's good. So I'm not even going to worry about that. It's not going anywhere. So let's move on to getting that front end back into place, and let's talk about that. So if you remember way back when, I said that this face here matches the original frame of the BMW, the original unibody, minus the plate that goes on the front that the front bumper bash guard mounted to on the original car. Now, when I originally mounted to this frame, what I did was I welded a 1x3 cross member to keep these in place. And then on the front of that, I had a pair of spacers that were cut at the same angle as the bumper mounts in the front face of the car. And then I had a pair of uprights that bolted to hold everything in place. So what I need to do is I need to take those lengths, I need to add an inch to them in order to locate my front clip. But what I will do is I'm just going to remount the original cross member that I put temporarily in order to get that all in place. Once I have the front of the car in place and I have mounted the inner fender walls to this, I'll be able to remove that cross brace. Likely I'll have to put some kind of a cross brace in. I don't want that one because I need to put in the radiators and stuff like that. So let's weld that back into place so that we can locate the front of our car where it's supposed to be. We will use the fenders to make sure that the top of it isn't leaning over or anything. And then we'll move forward from there. All right, so that bar has been put back into place. So interestingly enough, when I welded these outer plates here, they pulled these apart by about a 1/4 inch. So what I did was I put a clamp across and I pulled them back together. Now I'm going to have some kind of a bar going across the front here, something other than, this cross member here that these locate into. So what I will end up doing is putting the subframe back into place, bolting it into place, and then seeing about what kind of a structure I need or can build. And it might just be that it's a bar that's identical to this. It just goes across and then my rads sit in front of it. But anyway, that's going to come at a later date. Either way, it's only a 1/4 inch. It didn't make a big deal. It doesn't really affect these at all. So, all right, let's get the front of the car back into place. So as you can see, there's a bit of a zooming in, zooming out. Jeez, this thing is touchy. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap. These things sit majorly inboard. Like seriously, that's kind of it. It's where the original engine sit. Now, the engine does clear, all the pieces clear with it here, but I would prefer if this was on the outside of my frame. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up cutting it back here, and then probably cutting somewhere like that
and grafting it back on. I have a couple extra pieces there that, you know, were part of the remainder of the original wheel well. And what I'm going to try to do is make this fit the best that I can. I'm not worried, you know, about my wheel turning with the BMW. This is where the original frame was. This is the original, support member. So the wheel's going to sit and is going to clear anything that I put just to the outside and follow this line with. So that is what I'm going to do. This piece here is the one I want to attach to, and then across the back here, what I'll do is I'll come straight up and attach to the original seam here. I have to bridge over for the supports. I'll also probably have to cut back a bit further here and here, just on a bit of an angle probably, so that I can get a plate, at least, you know, like one of those half moon plates with a cross brace. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. But other than that, the front end goes back on really nice with the BMW shock towers. Now, as I said in an earlier episode, these shock towers are about 2 inches lower than they are in the original car. So that means my shock and spring needs to be 2 inches shorter in order to just get regular ride height. And as I said earlier, I'm fortunate because I found a set of coilovers that have like 3 inches worth of adjustment. So I can adjust those down to 2 inches down to fit these perfectly and have regular ride height. Then I can still have an inch or so of adjustment, and if I need to, I can do some other fancy stuff. But let's see. Let's get started working on those inner fenders. I don't want to take the outer fenders off because they are lining up where those are supposed to attach. And once I've got them at least tacked to the BMW shock towers, then I'm not worried about the front end, you know, tilting or turning or twisting or doing anything weird. So right now it is exactly where it is supposed to be. As you can see, I put some spacers in there as well. I need to put spacers in order to get the gap here correct on both sides, but it is correct now. The hood will line up with the front of this perfectly. I've got my hinge mounts, and and the fender, more importantly, matches up with the undercowl here. So let's get cutting and let's get welding. This is the view out of the garage today. It is absolutely pouring rain. It's so nice, you know. It's just really nice with to hear it on the roof of the garage when I don't have the music going. And I think, yeah, it's one of those nice days. Yeah. Right. We cut that away right up to the seam on both sides. So that's nice and smooth now. I'll have to grind away a bunch of scale and crap off of it, but that is taken care of. I better not touch that with my bare hands. I will hurt myself. So now we can start to think about what we're going to do here. Let me just zoom that out for you. So what I've been looking at here is where this part is behind this, I can get a curve piece in, right? But where it comes here, what I might do is just bring this straight down. So what I'll do is I'll curve this like that and bring it to here, right? So that this comes to in line with here, and then that way I can get a curve, and then the top can just be straight. So anyway, I'm going to start playing with some with the pieces of metal I have and some cardboard and some tape and just see what I come up with here. Let's take a look here at what I've got done. So I cut out the part here. I've got it fitting nice and tight along this inner seam here. Comes down to the bottom of the frame, so I've got some room to, either cut or add. And then what I'll be able to do is just put a flat piece in here. So anyway, that's looking good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack this into place right now, and then we'll get cutting on the piece on the other side going. Well, those are in place now. That fender's got a bit of a bow in it. It's actually not the inner fender, it's the outer fender that I have a feeling this car was probably in an accident at some point. Driver's door too. So what I need to do now is right here, I'm going to go across that way and up and over this and up here and around there with a flat piece that's just going to come straight down. Then I'm going to tie in with a flat piece onto that. So I'm just going to get some cardboard and cut those or get those made up. So let's template this out with some cardboard. As Randy Macho Man Savage would say, "Oh yeah, that's together, man." Yeah, I'm quite happy with the way that these two have turned out. So that puts together the front end of the car and holds it nice and stiff in place. And if I were to remove these bolts that hold the bumper in place, the front end would. Ow! Oh, my knee! Oh! It's not like it's big and red. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I don't even know what I was talking about now. Oh, okay. Big red metal thing hurt knee. Got to remember that. All right. So, yeah, I must have done it right because I hurt myself doing it. If you don't hurt yourself doing it, it's not done right. All right. Well, I am pretty pleased with the way this front end has come together. It does, of course, mean now that I can't just slide the motor into the front of the car. It means that I actually have to lift the motor and transmission up above the car and drive it, slot it down and in, which is not a problem. But I'm going to have to make another one of these spreader bars, lifter bars for it. Because you're supposed to lift from the back and the front, and I don't have one of those, twisty chain things that anyway. All right, so this is now all together at the front here. It actually looks pretty cool, all things considered. It's like it's a Triumph, but it's like the way a Triumph should have been built. Yeah, I am pleased. Well, that is all that I've got time for this week. We got the front end on. We've got the inner fenders done. They're tack welded, but it's all patched up. It's all solid. I'm really happy with what I got done. This episode. There is still some small pieces here and there that I'm gonna just put in off camera, all those little pieces that I need to fill in the firewall, etc. And then
it's going to be a lot of welding. So, anyway, thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you get a chance, check out Hornetic. Pick up one of my modules. It'll help support the channel. Comment, do all those things. And I will see you next episode. Thanks.